you don't have to be good at everything. Understand where your strengths are and understand where you can have an impact in the organization. Hi, my name is Craig Bissett. I run a company called Hire Results Ltd. We started this business in 2002, and I'm the president. I actually moved into the recruitment world in late 80s and ended up running two large recruitment firms. I was a partner in one of them, and in 2002, we started this business, Hire Results Ltd, building what we call hiring simulations. We literally allow clients to engage with candidates as if they're in the role, not just interview them. And this is really important for young recruiters to understand, especially when they're working in the corporate world, is that many times they are the face to the company. That when a candidate applies to an organization, they are typically dealing with the recruiter. And that recruiter has the opportunity to put on a good image for that organization, even when they have to give bad news, meaning you're not qualified for the role. Probably most important, I would say, to a young recruiter is that you have to remember that every person that you're dealing with is an individual. That individual goes home at night and they're human beings. And you have a responsibility to treat everyone equally. Again, we get a lot of calls over the years from individuals saying, I'm just new in the market. We need some advice. Don't try to be someone that you're not in the interview. So often candidates will look at an opportunity and they will try to fit their comments into what they think the client is looking for, rather than simply be themselves. And we tell candidates all the time, it really is important that you go into an interview, that you talk to prospective employers from the standpoint of who you are, not who you're trying to be. One of the biggest challenges that young professionals have is truly understanding who they are. They end up in a role because the role was brought to them, and sure enough, it makes sense to take an opportunity that comes that's a good company. But it really is, it's critical to understand who you are. And there's so many different ways today to self-assess, to have others who know you help you assess yourself. But usually in the first year to 3 years, you really start to understand where you gravitate to and your skills and your competencies. And I would say embrace it rather than put it to the side. You really need to embrace who you are, because that's going to help you to really understand where the track that you need to jump on. Is it entrepreneurial or is it structured? And neither one of them are right or wrong. It's really just who you are. Probably the biggest challenge for me, and the reason I left the large corporate world, is I really struggled in a large corporate structured environment. And when everyone's made up differently, they have different personalities, they have different traits, different attributes that make them up. But my skill set and my makeup didn't fit that. And so I started looking for an environment that really fit who I am. As a young business professional, I distinctly remember that I thought that when I was on a job, I had to have all the skills and I had to have all the abilities, and I had to be very strong operationally. I had to be very strong sales. I had to be very structured and unstructured. And my personality is I swing more towards being unstructured than structured. But I would say that one of the greatest learning experiences for myself that I would go back and tell myself is that you don't have to be good at everything. Understand where your strengths are and understand where you can have an impact in the organization, and realize that there's other people in the organization who have different skills than you that will make up for the areas that you don't have.